Yeah, really, I'm not too late for it. Put some time. Yeah.
Okay, I have 1 o'clock. Let's get things started. You guys, okay? Okay.
Oh, your place.
I'll talk to you later. Okay. All right, this meeting order on the 25th day of 2022, 1 o'clock, PUC commission meeting. Roll call, Kathy, you have everyone? Okay. Number 2, approval of the agenda, any additions or deletions? If not, may I hear a motion to accept this agenda?
Make a motion to accept this agenda. A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 3, approval of minutes from April 27th, 2022. Any questions or discussion on that?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. April 27th, 2022. A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 4, public comment. It's the time when anybody that wishes to address the commission may. Keith, do you have anyone?
I do, Mr. Chair. I did say I was going to share this with the commission at the appointment for the upcoming vacancy on the commission. City Councilor Gerald did request that the commission consider and review and consider its regular meeting time. She stated that she was, with the meeting being in the middle of the day, that it may discourage folks from applying to be on the commission, and therefore limit participation when vacancies come up. So it's just, that was something, her thought that she wanted to make sure that.
And we thank her for that, and so noted. Kathy, any emails or anything?
Nope.
All right. Number 5, certification of accounts. Favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 6, reports, presentations. SIMPA reports are in your packet. Is there any discussion or questions on that? Okay. Good. All right, number 6B, financial reports are in the packet. Any questions on that?
No, I don't.
Okay, you think about something.
Yeah, I know there was something, but I think it's something I'll talk to.
Okay.
About later.
And we can always address it if there's a discussion.
Something that I need to talk about at this meeting.
Okay. C, EB and ACH reports. Any conversation with those? Or send your tackles. Okay, not having anything there. Let's go to number 7, updates. Electrical. Linda.
Yeah, so we mentioned a solar system for a resident just on the north end of town. We're also working with another customer on Elford Road. We're working on that one. The second transformer on temporary service for the apartment building, the second building out here is up and running. We are moving forward with the security upgrades that we discussed at the last meeting. We had a pole change out just south of top of John's since our last meeting. Next week we're going to be working with an electrician to move the Coburn's transformer. We're going to be coming in Tuesday night. approximately 10:30 at night. We got a crane service coming in. We're moving that. They're putting in some connection cabinets. Coburn's has purchased a generator trailer. That's gonna be centrally located somewhere around the area for their different stores. So if their stores are out of power, they just hook up the trailers. So they need to do some electrical work and their connection cabinet needs to go over the transformer city now, so we're gonna work with them and move the transformer basically straight out. So,
Is that the one on the northeast corner?
it's on the east side of the trans. No, that's this mini sub for
Okay.
the DC fast charger. That we just put in,
Okay.
this is the green one, right, but kind of on the north side of the loading dock. Big green box, right where the
Okay.
bread trucks and stuff parked, so. Yep, so, yeah, we're not straight on the, yep.
Yeah, good.
So, yep, they're gonna do some concrete cutting there. We're also, our AMI meters. Did come in for the apartment buildings, so we did receive those. Then we've had some MMUA training, CPR, first aid training, and the guys are doing actually a metering training right now. MMUA right now. So,
Any questions for Mr. Linden? Thank you.
Jeremy? Yeah. Would you also give an update on the easement violation?
oh, yeah, we did put together a short letter. That's gonna be going on the on some door hangers. So when we notice some easement violations, and that might be a little bit strong.
Yeah.
Anyway, that basically, we're gonna drop these off to people. If we see them, that have yard sheds, motorhome boats, that kind of thing parked in defined easements. Yeah, just to let them know, and it's real friendly, non-confrontational, just saying, hey. We notice you got something sitting here. We're not requiring you to move it, just giving you a heads up that if it needs to be moved. It might get moved, and if we have to move it, we're not responsible. I mean, we're gonna try to work. We're not just gonna come in there with a dozer and move it. But if it needs to be moved. But we're not responsible for replacing it or what happens or any damage to the yard or anything like that, so. And if they wanna call, chat about it and stuff, it's. 99.9% of the time, it probably won't be an issue, but just in case it is, they've been notified of it, so.
And you're drafting that letter?
It's already been drafted, yep, and it's been kind of gone through and, yep. It's just real short, hey. There's just like, there's a handful down here by the south side, but they've got some yard sheds in the way and. They're not particularly next to anything, but if. We needed to get through there.
Yeah.
They're gonna be in the way, so just to give them a heads up that. Hey, it's a possibility, maybe someday. So, yeah.
Anything else? No. Thank you, Jamie. Mr. Schmidt, water.
Water, we got Shane is doing a OSHA competent version trench safety training here for the last couple of days. Kind of a little bit of across the board for everything, but Kenny completed his DOT recertification for doing truck inspections for us. With some service line inspections on the new constructions. We finished up fire hydrant flushing. A couple rain delays in there, but we got that all wrapped up. So that is completed for the spring. Middle water tower is all back up and tested. Shortly after our last meeting there, but that's all in use. Been working on a water usage tracking form for the non-metered water. For the fire departments, city stuff there, so we've been working on getting that kind of stuff. Getting a little better tracking on that, so we've got that going. Pretty well got all the spring turn-ons completed for sprinklers and snowbirds and all that stuff's all wrapped up here now, so. I'm at our quarterly fluoride sampling and then our monthly bag teas for Department of Health and all went good. And then power plant side. They completed the infrared inspection of the electrical systems inside the plant. I'm gonna do not real familiar with it, but a camera inspection of different breakers and whole list of stuff here that they go through and look, everything come back good. Unit 3 is retested for the emissions and back in service. And was test run or run at that time. Unit 7, we had a run on there that didn't go well. We had a sensor go bad on us, so that has been since fixed and back in service, ready to go. Units 4, 5, and 6, we're gonna test run tomorrow. And then June 6th through the 10th, the old units in the plant will be out of service on a maintenance. We're gonna be replacing that ballast tank that we're gonna get to last fall, when just with the weather turned on us, we didn't do that, but that's coming up. And that's all I got
So you're able to find that filter, the proper one,
for,
that was it number 7?
oh, the 7, it was a low water sensor. It was full of water, but the sensor was on the shutdown side of it, so it wouldn't allow us to even do nothing with the sensor not communicating, so. Worked with Ziegler on that, and they were up and we got it diagnosed that it was just a sensor and replaced and test runs, so everything's good to go there.
Wasn't there a filter, Jeremy, or was it Scott, that talked about this 85%?
Oh, that was
The unit 3, the
Okay.
emissions stuff, yep, that one is, that them catalysts were cleaned, reinstalled, and that unit was tested, run and tested, and everything's come back good.
Great, great. Thank you.
If you could, Scott, would you also talk about the breaker testing?
Yes.
Or
Yep, end of June, we're looking at doing the breaker testing for each feeder line, I guess it would be. There'll be a brief outage in the past that they've done overnight or early morning, late night type of deal. It's about 5-minute outage. Yeah. Inside there, they pull the main breaker out, clean the cabinet, and then they put the spare ones back in, and then everything can go back online. So that end of June, we're thinking.
yeah, so basically those breakers are energized all the time because people are using electricity all the time. We would like to do, like Scott said, we have spares that we test. Jim's really good at all of that. What we'd like to do is do a planned replacement so that we can pull the existing one, pop in the extra that we have, and then test those to make sure that, you know, things aren't degrading. We would rather do it in a controlled environment rather than an uncontrolled environment. It's something that we haven't done for quite a few years.
And it's been 5 or 6 years, and they recommend every 3 to 5.
Yeah.
This goes back to the fuzz and boom things and everything.
Yeah.
So basically what we're doing is we're testing the vacuum in the bottles in the breakers is like literally like 1/4 of an inch. And if those bottles go bad, we lose the vacuum. And then it basically turns into a
When it's activated or something.
when you turn it on, it basically turns into a very large anchor. Then you're cleaning gear if your gear survives.
Yeah.
So those spares that we had talked about on our tour that I had pointed out as the different subs, we test and maintenance those. We roll out the old ones. We clean the cabinets, like Scott said, we roll the tested good ones in, and then we maintain the maintenance and clean the old ones, and we just keep leapfrogging them down.
Okay.
So we're gonna work really hard to communicate that to customers over, you know, the next month to make sure that they know that this is coming. And we'll be identifying some of the bigger customers as well, so that they understand that it's gonna be more of a blip. But it's to do some preventive maintenance to prevent a larger outage down the.
Well, and instead of thinking that you have a good one sitting on the side, just test that so you know you have a good one, right?
Yep, because
That's
if it goes bad, it's gonna be not just roll a breaker out, put a new breaker in. It's gonna take a year with it. Well, but you're gonna be having to clean soot and ash and shrapnel and everything else out of it. And if you're lucky, everything survives. But if stuff is damaged with the way the supply chain is now, it could be months. before we get it up and repaired and then we're. Switch it, it wouldn't be right, it wouldn't be good, so.
Good ideas. Good practices.
I just want to say thank you guys for the tour after last meeting. I think, anybody that's on the city council or on here should take that tour just to realize what we got for in this town. It's very informative. Heard much back from I forgot the city, other city. You got much feedback from her.
I think she enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So,
she really enjoyed it. She did the Facebook post and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, she did.
helped us out there.
yeah, it's interesting how many people lived here their whole life too, and don't realize what kind of facilities we have.
I was one. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, someone have a grasp of what's going on, but when you actually get into the bowels of everything that you guys are doing,
Yeah.
everyone should do that. I mean, I did like the council, like Dan said, you enjoyed it.
I'm sorry, I had other.
Here,
Yes,
can I just add to that, I was the driver that day, who tried out. And that information or that Heather's information was passed to track out. And they put it on their, our computer system, central system. So it got all into the track out. Kudos to Princeton and the way they highlight, they would gap up to in Princeton.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very well received.
yeah, and thank you for driving, Jack.
Yeah.
That worked out.
You guys paid for it.
Yeah, still thank you. Update C, City of Princeton updates. Person Zimmer. Sounds like a law firm.
Yeah,
No, we don't make any money though, at least I don't.
so we're currently in audit prep mode. We still don't have a finance director. Hired Abdo to provide, the audit prep services. We've got them remoting in and or stopping by the office and we've been scanning. We're actually pushing back the audit another week. Abdo's found a few, shall we say, hiccups, nothing fraudulent or anything, but we just want to make sure that we have all of the data correct before we turn it over to the actual auditors to do the audit. So as grandma once said, haste makes waste, so we're gonna just take our time and get it right. I will be working on the scope of services to hire either Abdo or another firm to provide some financial consulting oversight, specifically to help with some of the personnel stuff for the budget and to just oversee our work internally with the budget to make sure that we meet all our deadlines and we calculate things correctly and things like that. So it's going relatively well. Looking forward to when we convert to the new finance software in July. That will make our lives so much easier. Karen is just can't wait. We're doing invoicing and we have to use a separate program, and the new program will be able to do invoicing out of the same thing. So it's just going to make us a lot more efficient. So as I keep trying to remind people, work smarter, not harder. But our software doesn't let us do that sometimes. We have 3 summer interns. One is a finance intern. So some of the day-to-day data entry that I was doing, like entering liquor store receipts, and some of the audit data entry will fall to Anna. We also have an intern that is helping Heather with marketing and some of the programs, so like Rum River Festival. She's working with that, and then we have one that will help us manage the splash park. And so she'll be working with the attendants and kind of monitoring the finances. She's a finance intern. She wanted the finance position, but we felt Anna was a better fit. But we're gonna have Haley, who's a local Princeton grad, actually manage the splash park as if it were a business, which it is a business, but we're gonna let her kind of manage it that way. So I think it'll be a good experience for her. So splash park does open this weekend, if you're interested, or if you have grandkids that are interested. We just one of the things that the fire board agreed to was to have us collect past due fire bills through either volunteerism or assessing the cost to the back to the property, real property in whatever county the owners live in. So our last sort of attempt to voluntarily collect amounts owed is going out this week. And then this fall, depending upon who doesn't pay, we'll send out certifications to the counties to actually assess the amounts due. We have a security camera project starting. We're replacing security cameras at the police department, city hall, liquor store, and the wastewater treatment plant. And actually adding cameras at public works and then adding some in the parks. So that will help increase public safety and address issues that might arise if we have assault or an altercation at any of our buildings, and be able to address that. 21st Avenue is almost done. They expect to get, well, the rain holds out in the next week. They should get the wear course on the final course. So Heather and our engineering staff are working on kind of tying down that date, and then we'll do some sort of, even though, I mean, I drove on it today because I was curious, but we'll have some sort of formal dedication, drive across, whatever. I'm letting Heather work on that. Our pavement management and transportation plans that we commissioned as part of this year's capital improvements budget are almost complete. So once staff gets a chance to review them, we'll formally present them to the council, and then we'll be able to start working on, we'll mesh those with the sewer plan and start looking at what can we bite off in terms of infrastructure replacement. So and where do we start and those types of things. So, and how do we pay for it? Right. We're still working through our classification and compensation study. Other things have keep popping up, and it keeps getting pushed to the back burner, but I need to move that forward before the 2023 budget so we can do whatever pay scale changes as part of that budget process. So yeah, and then just odd things keep popping up. I think I got it covered.
Yeah, Michelle gave a state of the city.
Yes, state of the city address at the chamber.
And the bottom line was council. I remember our mayor said the bottom line was so much going on. There's just so much going on that I mean, I had to step out for a minute there, but what you covered, I mean, it's probably just a small portion of actually what is going on, and everyone. I think the residents should feel confident and comfortable that they've got good city staff that really do know what they're doing and are doing well. City council, we approve this, that, whatever, but it's just like you guys, you do the work, you know what's going on, you do it all. And if you didn't have good people like you've got, we didn't have good people also, it wouldn't be running as well as it is. And that's gotta be a real good feeling. It's for us, it is. And thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
And then just one thing I wanted to say was, Greg, thank you for all your service to the commission. And I didn't say it at the council meeting, but I regret that you're leaving. And we haven't seen eye to eye on everything, but we always seem to be friends and work things through, and that's what counts. And with that, I just say, I'm really pleased that the council approved Jack here. We take your place, and I feel real comfortable with that choice. It's a very good choice, and it's a position that you really want to do, and I know Jack wants to do it, and he's ready to go. And again, we haven't seen eye to eye, but we always seem to work things through. That's what counts. So I would say welcome. I'm really glad that the city has done that. And thank you again. Greg.
Thank you.
You bet. Did I miss anything?
No, you did a fantastic job.
Yeah, there we go.
I have a question for the city.
Yeah.
As we hear the word solar more and more, is there regulations on panels that the city may or may not have on putting some sort of panels or solar on their homes? I mean, if you drive into any city and everyone has solar panels on, is that acceptable? Or has that not been addressed yet, not popular enough yet to address, or?
I'd have to talk to Mary Lou about what the zoning ordinance says. From a building code standpoint, they basically made the building code requirements in terms of the structural integrity of the structure, those types of things. Typically, at least when I worked at the county, we looked at solar panel installations on homes, ones that are roof mounted or even mounted in the yard as an accessory structure to the house. It's not until you start getting into what they call solar gardens or even solar farms that most ordinances really start to dictate where and how far away from the property lines and those types of things. But I'll ask Mary Lou and I can report back next month.
Yeah, it's not urgency, it's just when we start to hear it, I don't know, if commissions that I hear it more coming up, solar panels, solar energy, solar renewables and those type of things. And I know it's on the agenda later, Pete, but I just, from a different perspective, wondered if there was any rules that would have to be overcome to allow such a thing.
As the chair of the planning commission, the only thing that we've seen come across was like when we did the solar panel on the south end of the airport there. And that was mostly just making sure that the reflection, for airplanes landing, and that's one of the things. If you're close to an airport, they gotta do a study on that. And biggest thing, which was surprising to me, was that's all toxic waste when it's done. So to make sure that there's which I don't know that there's anything on homes for that city ordinances, but I know in that case I think they have to put up something like $250,000 for cleanup when it's at the end of this.
When they get decommissioned,
Yeah.
because right now there really isn't a good mechanism for recycling some components. I mean, that's gonna be, in 25 years, that's gonna be the next environmental issue. It's just like plastics.
Well, it's along with the the windmill.
Yep, the
Turbines.
turbines and
That's a big issue.
and the
Yeah.
wings for turbine or wind turbines, they can't recycle that either yet, so.
Yeah, I would imagine at some point there'll be some sort of a check on these older. Homes with older solar panels that if something's leaking out in the ground or. Who knows what, but right now, there's really nothing.
Well, SIPA may be addressing that, right, Keith? I mean, they mentioned that when the meeting was here, Chairman, recall that too. Something about the cost of it or the bonding has to include the recycling part of it.
Well, whenever we do any sort of generation project, we always make sure we're thinking about the decommissioning costs.
Right.
That you have any major capital.
So that may be taking care of itself, is if that concept is in the back of the mind of the project. So it's not just, well, who wants it now and everybody walks away from it, but that discussion happened right in this room. So it's interesting to attend.
But currently, I believe that it's just on the. Shall we say it's just a commercial projects.
Mhm. So is that solar field that's north of Prairie Restoration, is that theirs or is it somebody else's? Or
No, it's connections. Yeah. They sold Prairie Restoration sold them the land.
okay, that's
And then, well, another kind of cool thing is they're doing a study, being connected with Prairie Restoration, they're doing a study on what they can grow underneath those. To make sure that it's, adds back to the environment. Which is kind of interesting.
so that's in Prairie Restoration since it's right. They're not.
No, it's in
So-
Baldwin Township.
Okay,
Mhm.
so when I looked at that for my comparisons, and then there's a business in town that has it on their south roof, obviously. That's where the question's coming from, is how does this get regulated and who's,
Mhm.
or does anyone not care or what, but that's where the question's coming from.
Yeah, I'm guessing the one on the insurance building, the one that you're speaking of, was likely considered an accessory structure and they just had to go through a straight building code. Building permit. Electrical inspections, those types of things. But I'll check, I made a note, I'll ask Mary Lou and I'll have a report back next month.
I appreciate it.
I would imagine it's possible if they were closer to the airport, they might have some.
Possibly.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Number 8, ongoing business ACH discussion.
I can, Mr. Chair, I can last day. For 7D.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped right by it. Yours is usually the longest. But we don't get into that.
Cut it out here.
Yeah. Meeting adjourned. Save it for next month. Ian. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just want to keep the commission informed on several activities, for bills this month, the insert that we're doing is LED rebate coupons to help promote that technology to help our customers save energy. And the bill message is on air conditioning rebates and summer cooling costs that we always see an uptick in bills in some months due to air conditioning. We did have Police Chief Todd Frederick visit with staff this month to explain the police department's new body cam policy and procedures, since sometimes field staff get pulled into different situations. Want to make sure that the utility and the city are working together on that. I have given the commission some information, articles and such behind the scenes, talking about a growing concern regarding capacity shortages on the MISO market for the summer. As a result of that, we held a routine internal emergency preparedness meeting to ensure that the utility is able to respond to all sorts of various contingencies. From that, we identified certain tasks to do. One was to make sure that all staff have their minimum amount of what's called NIMS, National Incident Management System training, which is relevant for their roles. So we are working on updating those certificates. We're creating information guides to locate key infrastructure points so that we can use them as quick reference during emergencies. And that's part of where the discussion on the breaker testing came up as well. Doing everything we can to make sure the system is prepared and can be. Scott mentioned we're working with the city and a couple other folks to better track hydrant water usage, which is we need for our required regulatory reporting to DNR. I did want to mention that the thoughts that I had for future commission meetings is for next month. I am planning on having the auditors do their audit presentation to the commission. And then we are looking at having DGR do a presentation for starting phase 1 of the CAT plan. In July, I'm looking to see if I can't bring up SIMPA to do a presentation on the current quick start agreements, as well as what a potential future quick start agreement would be for any new generation located within the member service territories. And then in August, Michelle and I have been talking about doing the joint session on Thursday, August 4th at the City Council work session. At that time, we would be able to have DGR present on their findings for the rate study. So I wanted to just kind of put that, throw that idea out there for the commission to see if August 4th would work for a joint session. On the energy efficiency side, we did issue rebates to Warner Group and the DMV. SIMPA is working on an article about a recent project over at plastic products, which was a significant effort. So we wanted to pull that. And then Nancy did do an informal audit of Fairview Northland, which she completed to help them address some of their energy usages. On the regulatory side, we did complete our 2021 Consumer Confidence Report certification. We included a direct link in the April bill message, and that report is available online, and customers may also request a printed copy at the office. We also, in working with WSB on a couple other issues, identified the need for us to submit and basically like intent to submit for the drinking water revolving fund. This is part of the federal IIJA, the Infrastructure and Investment Jobs Act. I think that's what it stands for. The state will be the conduit for the federal funds. So folks are just making sure that we're getting on the list for that. One of the major activities in that effort is to replace lead service lines. Which we still have a few, we think, on the system. If we are successful in getting some federal funding for that, it would be a 2023 project. The total amount of requested funds is $250,000 that we're asking. That's for that. We'll see. I wanted to make sure that we at least got our name on there so that we keep moving forward with it. If anything would come of that outlay. We will also be participating in the Rum River Festival Parade on Thursday, June 6th. I attended the chamber meeting on May 3rd, and then the last chamber leadership series was held on May 19th. For the IT department, the city did share with us a copy of their proposed computer use policy. We have reviewed that, identified a few areas that we thought would also benefit the utility. As a result, we are in the process of expanding our security protections through enhanced password protections and a review of all external interfaces. We do have a little bit of a situation with our oldest gateway, which we need to replace because it does have a 4G modem, which is no longer being supported. Unfortunately, due to the lead times that we're experiencing in every aspect of our industry, we have ordered a new one, but we're looking at a 16-week lead time. Meter readings are coming in, but that gateway does need to be replaced in order to ensure our long-term reliability as we communicate with our meters. Looking at relationships with outside organizations, with the city, the city did start a conversation with us regarding their EV charger on First Street. We are currently developing options, which I anticipate we'll bring before. We'll see what we can come up with to address and make sure that equipment is serving the needs of the community. For SIMPA, we provided our updated load forecast, which came from the DGR report. And SIMPA is meeting with members regarding future generation needs. And SIMPA is also looking at offering a new program regarding solar photovoltaics. It was participated by a project down in St. Peter that would be available to the entire membership. For MMUA, planning has started for the summer conference. I have mentioned that to the commission in the past. Rick, I know you said that you were available either this year or next year. Dan, you were gonna get back to me, and I never heard if you had a preference. So
What are the dates?
it's in August, mid-August. So just let me know so that I can register I will obviously be there. So it's whichever one I usually want to go this year, and then the other can go next year. So that we cycle through, so everybody gets a
Except the
chance.
matter is,
At least so,
as well.
yeah, I'd have to look. But if you could let me know if you have a preference, or Rick, if your schedule's changed, would you have a preference?
I can be flexible, so if you want to go down, it's fine. If you can't make it, then I can go. At this time.
I mean, I'd like to go, I just. We haven't go over schedule.
Okay. But so.
I noticed that all the rooms were already booked right there, full, it said on the site, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So you would have to stay.
I thought Rick was, okay.
That was one question I had on that.
Okay.
It's not a big deal.
So all the more reason why the sooner. I
Yeah,
know
right.
if you can make it or not.
Yeah, I'll put it in the notes too.
Okay, thank you. So MMUA is starting planning for that. And then for wellhead protection, we found out that we did not receive the source water implementation March grant that we applied for. I did receive some positive input on our application, and we are encouraged to reapply for their fall grant program. And then I did find out we did qualify for funding from our April source water protection competitive grant application. However, funds have been exhausted and we are placed on a waiting list. MDH anticipates that funds will be available in July. That grant is a total of $2,200, which will be able to use towards our potential contaminants source inventory. So that'll help defray some of those costs. That's what I have for an update.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Kate? Gentlemen? Now, do number 8, ongoing business ACH. Is there any updates or anything on that, Keith? Is the interest still there that are signing up and?
I mean, I guess I don't, I mean, the report is in, was in the packet. Pull that up.
I think it was last meeting that we talked about, does this need to be on the agenda any longer? But we're not gonna have an update on, no one's watching that changeover.
I think if it's made the decision and stuff,
Right.
it's implemented all the way, right, correct? It's,
Yeah,
yeah, so I guess I'm fine with
My interest is just to follow up to see, are we averaging
well, I think
10 a
the
month?
budget at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Some of those things.
but if it's dropping off, we're doing something now for the 3% off. But if we're not tracking it, then we're not tracking it, so. Do we need a motion on that? Gentlemen?
no, I just, if the commission decides, I mean, the last direction we had as staff was to
Keep it up.
keep it on there and
Right.
until different, so that's what we.
So it's another month.
I guess
Greg, you're feeling-
the importance of having it on original. That was just to get a kind of an indication of what's happening. Did it make a difference? Are people signing up for it? Is it making a difference in the workflow in the office? So this would be Kathy's fault, we can blame her later if we didn't know anything, but I think we have, due to this incentive, we saw that, okay, we've got this increase. I think that increase is still in place, you don't have people, correct me if I'm wrong, now, but we don't have, I'm not doing that ACH anymore, it takes right out of my checking account. Oh, but that's not the response I think we've got. I think the response that we got last time was that more people have signed up for it. It hasn't been a point of contention with customers. So yeah, we're gonna keep doing it. We'll keep advertising it an option that they have for ways to pay their utility bill. I mean, I think all the excitement is kind of the dews off the lily, as it were. And we're still continuing to do process. And as new customers, and this is, I guess the question is, as we get new customers come in and they're introduced to ACH as a possible, is there any resistance, or is that kind of like, yeah, okay, fine, or what kind of response are you getting?
Some of the new customers sign up, some don't. I mean, it's just kind of a. I did sign up about 50 customers, 50 new ACH customers today.
So, like I said, I think
That's considerable.
it's,
I guess that's what you said is what I was trying to explain, but you did it much better. Thank you.
it's trying to be supportive.
But you know, to just do something and then walk away and just let it happen. I always like to follow up on a project to see, you know,
Sure,
that the
sure.
results.
Right,
Yeah.
the wheel of decision making. And the research, decide, and then track,
Right.
make
Yeah.
changes.
Because no matter what we do, if we make a change on anything, there's going to be an amount that want to go against that change.
Yeah.
But then once we all take a hiccup and deep breath, then everything seems to be going just fine. So that would be my interest and if we look at it on an annual basis, we certainly can.
Sure. Well, we are tracking it in the normal reports.
Right,
So
so.
you guys can ask about it.
Yeah.
We could just look at those annually and budget, you know, going through budgets, we'll probably come up with. You know.
Well,
so different,
again, we're reporting monthly on those numbers, so.
yeah, yeah,
I would think, I mean, that, I would think that would be your placeholder you're looking for, because
yeah.
whenever we go through the reports, you guys have the opportunity to ask about any of those.
Mhm. Sure.
Whether you need it as a separate discussion point, I guess is up to the commission.
I'm fine, I'll take it.
Great.
Okay.
You want to take it out or leave it in?
I think at this point, it's not particularly helpful. I think we've got that information in the reports, but I think it's, as it said, I think just making a note for a yearly report, here's what's happened during the course of this year. I think that makes, it's just, you know, it's a bullet point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're getting the reports under 6C, under EV and ECH report.
Okay, so it
Yes.
sounds like we should be able to get by with removing that.
Mr. Chairman, just just if you don't mind, just a comment.
Yeah. Please.
A lot of this is word of mouth too, with ACH and the paying by credit card and that. And I'll just give you an example. Someone approached me and said, "No, I have to pay this certain, what do you call it, the fee?"
3%.
3%. And that person didn't like that. I said, "But are you aware that if you go ACH, you know, out of your checking account, and that sort of thing, that you can save, you know, you don't have to pay that percent, that fee, and plus you saved the 3% on the water and all that, and walked away quite happy."
Yeah.
So I don't know if he came in.
And it's getting
I'll
word
check with
out.
you.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is a lot of times it's just a word of mouth,
Yeah,
and those, you know, so just a comment.
No, and it's very much.
So I mean, he was really tickled, really,
Yeah.
you know, like, you know, well, you gotta read these things, but whatever.
And that's why I didn't know what to follow up with advertising and promotion is, you know,
Yeah.
if we start something that's like this, and then. You know, things drop off, but are we still doing that since the program, the 3% credit is still in effect? So. Just a question.
Yeah, I know the office staff they talk about it every day on the phone with customers.
so I'm sure you're.
Great.
So he was happy I saved him 5%.
Oh, right. I mean, really,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, he was just tickled.
that's cut.
Yeah,
But when people come up and talk to Kathy and they make a decision right there not to go with ACH. They're accepting the fact that the fee is there.
yeah,
And we just had to get over that first little jump.
Right.
yeah, and
What might be People thought it was shocked, but.
And some people just don't want to manage their money that way, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We have a lot of options.
Yeah, it wasn't mandated. There's a lot of options.
Yep.
Okay, so we're done with 8. New business, Legion donation request for the 4th of July fireworks. Mr. Hatch.
Awesome. Mr. Chairman, commission, staff, thank you for this time, the chance to address you, brief you a little bit. And we were big info guys, so I'm just gonna give you that. And this is something for you to look at while you're here, while I'm talking. It has nothing to do, I should say, it's related to the item which I am here for. As you know, this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. And then, in just over a month, 4th of July.
If you wanted to see, I know you like to stand though, so.
I move my hands and stuff. So here's the deal. I'm here, I got my Legion hat on, but before I go into that, I just want to back brief you a little bit on what's going to happen that 4th of July week for us at the VFW. It's a week because we have, in combination with the Fair Board, we've scheduled an event very much like the moving wall. You remember the moving wall? It was here for a week. This event is very similar. It's not like it at all, but it's very similar in that it is a post 9/11 event display called Tribute Towers. The VFW is putting it on this year, and this is why I'm saying this. It's a VFW project, and they fundraised for that. I was part of the campaign. And we've done all that and it was very successful and we don't need any more money. I won't say that. You can give us money if you want, but we really don't need any more money. We got it. What we don't have is part of that on the 4th of July for about 20 minutes at the very end of the holiday. There's a fireworks display. The Legion puts that on and we pay for that. And then we try to fundraise to pay for that event, that part of that. It's only 20 minutes out of this 6-day thing. And they're not doing really well on the fundraising, probably because I was very aggressive on the other part of that campaign with the VFW. So they're a little concerned, and I'm here to tell you that we're about halfway paid for the fireworks fund, which we've done for over 2 decades now. And of course, this year, like everything, the amount of the cost of fireworks has gone up by several $1,000s. It's up over, what is it, 11, 13?
About 13.
13,000 this year instead of 10.5. So, it's a little more money and we don't get any more time. We'd have less time, but then we'd have less of a fireworks display. And we don't want to do that. So that being said, we're about halfway. We got about half the money we need. And we're, like I said, we're just a little over a month away. So we're very concerned because that's an expense we've already paid for, and we want to remunerate that fund so we can keep doing it year after year after year. So I'm here for the Legion to tell you that we really are in need of funds this year for the fireworks fund. We're going to have fireworks regardless. And it's going to be a great event with that 6 days. The Tribute Towers is going to be lovely. And I just want you to know that y'all are welcome to come and be there. And it's a free event to the community. And the fireworks is free to the community. And it's all part of that. And so I just want you to understand that fireworks funds, even though it's only 20 minutes, it's really expensive. It's twice what the towers cost. It doesn't matter. It's really important to people. So anything you can do for us for fireworks, that's what we're really looking for. Can I field any questions at this time? I think you can probably get all the information you want from all the other people sitting on the commission here. If you have nothing else for me, I'll go ahead and pack up my bags and get out of here and let you guys discuss the rest of your business.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We had this discussion last year. And I think we made a decision. But then it wasn't needed.
Thank you.
State method law. So, and make sure that we're following protocol on gifting and donations and, those type of things. And it's my understanding, correct me, Keith, if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding this isn't for all community event, which would qualify it for us to be legal, for us to contribute. Is that a correct statement?
Well, okay, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't. give you
No,
legal
But the
advice.
difference from us giving someone a check to one
Correct.
person versus the participation of ratepayers and communities of,
Correct, but it's a community event and so. I think the discussion the commission had in the last year was something like this would qualify. It was the concern about giving money to a specific individual for their use or a specific group for their use. This is for a public fireworks.
Right.
And therefore, I think we should do that as a true community event and therefore allowed.
so us, none of us being attorneys, you and I, or at least at this point in time, are agreeing that that would be acceptable. If a donation wanted to be made, that it would cover our grounds for not breaking any.
I think you can, yeah, I think there's a very legitimate stance you can take to say that this is falls within, under the purview of the league's title.
I would like to hear the other commissioners' thoughts, and then if we're still in question, ask an opinion to make sure. But I would ask your,
I think, this was an important discussion from last
Mhm.
year, and so I think finding the pretty good was the critical point, and I think, having said that, then I think this would certainly qualify. If in retrospect, it doesn't, it's only the chairman that goes to jail anyway. Yeah. Am I wrong here? No, I think this certainly qualifies. And that's why I'm not the chairman.
You served your time?
No, I think this is the kind of, it's a good place for us to support the community. What level we have, I'm not sure, we could certainly discuss that. But this is the kind of thing that I think we could stand behind as part of our community support and help make a good display.
There's budget discussions as far as that.
You guys had talked about it, but no decision.
As far as an amount.
Budgeting just something for community
I'm
sponsorship.
Pretty sure we did commit an amount, but they already hit their goal.
No, Dan's talking about like an annual budget.
An annual budget for community sponsorship events.
That's something I'd like to see in the budget, if it's going to be an annual.
Yeah, so then we're not.
I guess the question that I'm looking at, there's two different ways you can look at it. We could say, let's do this as long as it meets the criteria of not doing anything illegal, or we can do this next month, but in the meantime, find out if there would be an issue or not. So you can do one with the.
Yeah, their money's, if their budget's met, this is for really for next year is what I understood that he was saying. It's for.
No, it's for this July.
This year.
Oh, it was.
This
Okay. I didn't.
He bobbled in the middle of that.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah, they need the money.
yeah. I mean, I would like to do it, but I don't want to do anything illegal. I said this last year, so.
Right,
You know, I think that, you know, that it is a community event and, you know, we gotta, you know, within reason, I think, you know, something would be in order. And I would like to think most of the community, most of the ratepayers would probably agree that a little bit, for the community, this community now.
yeah, I'm not against it at all. So there would be a couple of things, the process that I just mentioned. First, we would say, should we be doing it or not? You know, if you want to contribute, but then we still have to negotiate or not negotiate, but determine, you know, the legality of this donation and if it qualifies for us to actually do it.
Yeah.
I think the commission is feeling the same throughout. I've seen the heads nod. Jack, do you recall the amount that we talked about last year? And then you mentioned we don't need it because they're so successful.
Yeah, actually what happened was, we were extremely successful last year, the money just flowed, it's not happening this year. No, I don't, certainly not gonna say it's Randy's deal, it's, you don't have two separate events going. And Randy was raising some money separately from the fireworks. Whether that explained it, I'm not even sure. Yeah.
But this is a Legion fire,
The Legion has done the fireworks for a long time.
right?
There was, I was gonna do this presentation, and he just didn't part. So, in light of what happened here, figures don't go like, by sure, so,
Yeah,
the amount was, it was $1,000 that you guys did.
and that's what I was trying to determine.
And-
That was-
You know, what happened last year was, you know, we should have took it anyway, kept a kind of separate account with the. That's point.
Does anybody, do you know how much they need?
We need about 13,000 this year.
That's what they're short right now?
No.
No, not half. We raised, the last time I talked to their finance director, we were around 7,000-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah, Randy stated that they had like 6.5 and they had about half the money. in
A little
13.
more. We need about 13,000. The cost of the fireworks is around 12.5. Advertising, promotion, whatever. Yeah, I was gonna make this presentation, and I guess it's adding to it. You know, when Legion first, to give you just a little back, when the Legion started this, and, you know, I can't give you the date. We had money coming out of ears. We had full tabs, we had a bar. We didn't care if they collected time. It was our contribution. Now, things have changed. We don't have that revenue. But we still, the fair board has been, up until the last couple of years, the fireworks have been made then. Now the fair board is stepping up in the BMW and trying to make it a big 4th of July event. There's just so much positive about it. But let's say the fireworks are what, that's the end of the day, that's what most is about, the fireworks. And you may add all the other stuff we're adding and people want the fireworks. No, collecting money for it is, hasn't been that easy.
Do you have any, is there any pull tab places doing it?
You know, Art would have all, I don't know where all these, who all have been, in front. And we've done well, I'm so grateful to the community because they pretty much stepped. We're not definitely, it's not that we can't pick up a few bucks if we have to, we can. You know, our revenues come from interest off our water right now. Investments. They're not looking too good right now either.
Does the city get hit up on this?
I can answer that. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
The city, and I'm pretty certain it was the city contributed 2,500
Okay,
to the fireworks.
From the winter.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, that falls, does that fall on the same guidelines that we're talking about? It's usually-
I don't think so.
Well, it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, essentially, it's not coming from the city per se.
Oh,
It's
yeah, it's
coming
not
from an enterprise fund
So it's,
that is a profit center that is managed by the city,
Yeah.
so.
right,
And we have set a budget on what we contribute, and out of that budget, we contributed to the fireworks.
well, I would like to. I think we still have one more meeting before the 4th of July, but I don't know if they need to know that.
Randy said they're gonna do it with or without it, so it's just.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we've got the contract with the fire vendors.
Yeah. All right, because I've got an idea myself that solve that problem without.
I've got a couple ideas too, and I'd like to bring them up here.
Right, yeah,
Somebody who will be here to be.
yeah, so I would like to might be able to solve that problem. So. See.
So should we go to my hearing here that we should maybe table it and do some
Yeah, so we
research?
should do some research, because this, this is, we don't have, I don't want to keep having the same discussions over and over. I'd like to
Right.
get
This is
something,
number two.
yeah, so I would
Okay.
like to get the decision, when this comes up, we don't have to do any more research, just here's our budget, here's what falls in the guidelines and stuff.
All right, Kathy, we're gonna table number 9A for next month's meeting. And then, Mr. Butcher, if you would check into that scenario and the feasibility and lawful action of.
So the question is, you want me to contact our attorney and just find out if the commission can donate to the fireworks?
Correct.
Or should we just get guidelines overall?
Well, we read them,
We do have the guidelines.
yeah,
That's-
we did this a year ago. But, and
Yeah. So,
that brought attention to the situation that we could be in the red. Or,
yeah,
so I would like to hear the singularity question of
okay,
that statement.
okay.
Agreed?
Yes, the tertiary issue here is going to come back to think about it. How much do we put into that contributions budget? So we say, okay, we have $500,000 that we're going to give away this year, who gets it first? Or we have $500 in our budget. How do we decide that? So, that's a different kind of discussion that you gentlemen would have. But I think it's appropriate to have that along with this, okay, we're gonna do this. Or not, I would suggest you do it. Then how does that become a part of our deal? And what other things do we want to support? Have we supported in the past? And make a list and then say, okay, these are the things that I'd like to support, and we've done this amount and this amount, and then maybe the slush fund at the bottom. But we get requests for donations fairly frequently, I would assume. And it's not just Randy coming up once a year. We have ways of supporting the community. This is one of them. What other things are we gonna do during the next 12 months? Or whatever, and make sure that we kind of cover that in an open way. So the community knows here's what we're doing. And we do it every year. And we're going to continue. So,
Well, and commissioners, you may or may not remember, but when I heard donation and stuff, the first question I asked Keith was, what's our budget for it? And the answer was, we don't have one.
I said that the commission did not make a decision at the last discussion.
Yeah.
Now, but I will say that when we do our budgets, a lot of what we do is carry over business as usual. What we donated last year to Light Up Princeton was $2,500. So by inertia, you can say you have $2,500 as a budget, but that was never formally adopted.
Right. So the goal now maybe can be for next meeting is to also make this discussion with the research. And then also look at what we do donate to and set that limit, because if somebody else comes in that is a community entity, are we just going to say no because we don't have a budget, or are we just going to keep grabbing it from wherever? So I would like the commission to be prepared for that discussion along with a donation or amount or not to the Legion. Okay. That's clear as mud, Kathy? Okay.
makes sense to me.
Okay. WSB water study proposal. Mr. Butcher and Schmidt.
Yes, sir. In your package is memorandum 22-12. It's a topic that we did talk about at the last meeting. We are entertaining the idea of doing a comprehensive water system plan. As we begin to evaluate our infrastructure needs and plan for potential future growth, it'd be valuable to develop a comprehensive water system plan, much like much like what was done for the electric department last year. The study will be invaluable as we look to identify and quantify necessary system repairs, upgrades, and additions. As we plan for both future growth and future reliability, and in-depth engineering analysis of our system will allow us to develop a long-term capital plan. The utility reached out to WSB to obtain a quote for conducting a comprehensive water system plan. The last time we conducted such a survey was around 2002, so it's been about 20 years. WSB was approached because they currently provide engineering services to the city. WSB was and is involved in several city efforts such as the 2018 sewer system study and the pavement management plan development that is currently underway. WSB is also involved in individual development projects. So selecting WSB to conduct a water system plan would, I believe, help provide synergies with the city's overall efforts, which would benefit both taxpayers and ratepayers. The study was not included in the 2022 budget because PPU was anticipating focusing on completing the water AMI upgrade. However, supply chain issues have prevented us from obtaining the necessary equipment to finish that project. Water nodes are not expected to be delivered until Q1 of 2023. The 2022 budget for water nodes was $150,000. With this unused budget item, it seemed like a viable option for the utility to begin work on a water study earlier than anticipated. The results of this study would then feed into enabling the utility to conduct a water rate study in 2023. In consultation with staff, WSB provided a work plan, which is in your packet, for an hourly not to exceed fee of $35,800. Completion is expected to occur by the end of the year. Staff believes that this would be a worthwhile endeavor and are looking for direction. How would the commission like to proceed? And does the commission have any questions regarding the proposal? So we want to put that before you guys.
I open the floor for input and discussion on this.
I'm sold on it already doing it, so that's all I have to say.
I think it's a natural evolution of the same thing we did with the electrical side. We apply it to the water side. It just makes good sense to understand our community's needs and start planning for them. I just went through selling a house, and 3/4 of the people that came to look at my house were outside of the Princeton area. Movement, this stuff is happening. We have 2 great rooms, part of what's going on. We have people building in town and out of town. This area, I don't know if it's huge. I have no idea how to put a number on it, but it is growing. And if that's the case, we need to get our ducks lined up real straight, because we're going to get into a situation in the not too distant future where this utility can't keep up with our people's needs, either on the water side or the electrical side. Last summer, we already had one day where we exceeded our capacity to provide from our own generation enough electricity. Fortunately, we belong to SIMPA, and we had all kinds of resources, and we got by. But when you hit those peak numbers on a hot summer day, it's kind of a red flag. And the same thing is going to happen on the water side. Water is a big deal, and I think it would be imprudent of us not to go forward with this and find out what this growth, what kind of impact this growth is going to have on our community.
My thoughts on it are 100% go.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
It's been a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you, gentlemen. To me, the other really key benefit to it is the collaboration with the city, especially as they start looking, because our water mains are under roads and on top of sewer mains. Whatever work the city does, it'd be nice to collaborate with them, and they're going to have their priority list. It'd be nice to know kind of what our priority list, so we can find out where there are commonalities. So that
Sure.
we do things in the most cost-effective way, and very hopeful that this will be a very good thing for us in the long term.
It'd be such a huge benefit to work together. I mean, we're all gonna win. So I really enjoy the relationship that's continuing to grow. All right.
Is that 1 and 2?
Yes, yeah, I just, two attachments.
So next we'll go down to 9C.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I did have a customer of ours contact us earlier, regarding some questions about, solar, putting a solar system on in their living space. And, we ended up having quite a discussion, because when it comes to issues like, solar PV, what I have found is different people are motivated by different things. There are some that are doing it for environmental benefits. There are some who might do it for reliability. There are some who might do it to save a bunch of money. There are some who might do it because they want to stick it to the utility and go into, or, there's a whole range of different motivations that come in. And I started talking to the customer, and one of their primary drivers was the environmental. They were really interested in being more green, and started having a conversation with that customer, mentioning that there are multiple options to get there. And if the utility offered what I'm going to get into, which is called a REC, a renewable energy credit, would they be interested in doing that? And the idea behind a REC, and I do have a memo written up for the commission under 22-13, which gives a way for through a SIMPA program that the utility can play a more active role in providing a renewable energy purchase program. So, and like I said, really, although we SIMPA are increasing our renewable portfolio, there are customers that are looking for ways to claim 100% of their energy from renewable resources. Many of those customers are exploring options to install their own solar PV systems. However, those systems require large upfront investments, complicated interconnection agreements, and ongoing operation and maintenance efforts, not to mention the decommissioning costs that was mentioned earlier by the briefing. And those decommissioning costs are often not included in project analysis. For those customers driven by environmental sustainability concerns, the green pricing program administered by the local utility employing a large-scale renewable system is often much more flexible and cheaper and a cheaper option for customers. SIMPA has developed an offering where members on behalf of their customers can purchase renewable energy credits or RECs, and this cost can be passed through to the customer, and the RECs are then retired. The current SIMPA charge for one REC is $3 per megawatt hour, which is 0.3 cents per kilowatt hour. Like I said, when you look at a solar PV system, that might require a $50,000 to $100,000 upfront investment. If somebody can do more of a pay as you go at a much lower rate, that might be a better option for them. So I wanted to bring that to the attention of the commission. I've been having discussions with SIMPA as well. They're looking at promoting that more and more. I believe that it would be a worthwhile endeavor for us to look at providing this as an additional service option to our customers, and simply pass through the costs, no markup or anything. It's just and the logistics of how we're going to do this, obviously, we would have to figure out whether it's on a monthly basis or annual basis. However, it would give folks an option to be, 100% green, 100% renewable. Wanted to bring that before you, see what your thoughts were, if you thought that was a worthwhile pursuit, and if we should try to put something together utilizing that simple offering.
Gentlemen,
So if I'm understanding this correctly, what you're saying is a customer could buy into some green, it would increase the cost of his electricity 0.3 cents per kilowatt hour. Correct. Right. So if a customer wants to be that green, he can pay a little more and be green. Or you can say, okay, you don't have to spend the $20,000 for all those panels, and you can still get some green energy. It's not going to save you money on your particular bill, but it will contribute to the overall well-being of all of us or something.
Yes, I will, the only. I would say it in a different way, because what I see with some of these solar providers that come in, they assume that utility rates are gonna increase 3% every year. And so I'm not, the cost savings are debatable as to whether if you do a life cost analysis, you're investing $50,000, do you get that back? I think is a legitimate question. And I don't think that people always know. So to say that they're gonna save money, I'm just not as convinced. I'm just telling you from the projects I see.
I understand your argument completely. And I'm sure that there are people putting solar systems out there because they believe this is gonna save them jillions, increase the value of their property, whatever that last salesman told them is what's gonna happen. I don't believe most of that, but there is that argument. And so that's what drives much of it. The other argument about, I would rather have more of my bill paying for wind or solar or geothermal or something than a diesel plant or a coal plant running my energy bill. Right. There's a cost associated with that. Here's what it is. But then on the other hand, if you want to do your own solar, it's going to cost X, and who knows what it's going to cost to decommission. And if it tears a hole in your roof while they're doing it, who knows what that's going to, it's a complicated issue. I just think if we make this available, we need to make it clear that this is the cost. Just like there's a cost of doing that, a cost of doing this, there's a cost of doing this, but it's 0.3 cents. Correct. So I just think it's important for us to map out the strategy of how we're going to present this to people as part of the way of making our energy supply greener going forward.
And the other, like you were mentioning, this actually allows more people to do it because it doesn't require that large upfront investment. It's a much lower barrier to entry if somebody wants to pursue that option. So it makes it available to more people. That's my point.
Just a comment, Keith, before your time, Connie gave a presentation on this.
Correct.
And
Well, she did on the solar.
right. We attended, Ann and I attended that just because we were leaving town that same day. And what I took out of it, we had to leave early, but what I took out of it is that it was kind of a good thing to do, but a break even kind of thing, and it's hard to put your finger on, if it's money or not, but that's where I left there is that we'll see what happens in the future. Well, now is the future from that meeting. And it still seems to be a hard thing to put a number on. That if you're gonna spend 50,000, that you're gonna get 50,000 back over that time. So it just put that out there for the comment that was at the meeting with Connie.
Yeah, that solar garden project was still an upfront investment, not what we're seeing with the individual homeowners doing. It was, I want to say it was like $325 per panel was a cost. So you did have to spend that money up front, and then you got a reduction in your bill over the 5-year term or 10-year term, or I think they're leaving a 15-year term, if you so choose. Again, this is more of a pay as you go.
Right. I just wanted to share that information. It must have fell on its face because there's nothing there.
No, we do have customers in there.
Oh, you do? Okay.
The utility, the city, and we did have some individuals as well, did purchase some solar panels that the church did as well. So we have that in the system, and they are receiving credit for energy provided by those panels. That's Simpson.
Okay.
But most of those actually expire the end of this year. And we're gonna be looking at it. I'm not sure that it's really a program worth continuing. We didn't have a whole lot of participation in it. I think this is a better program design. But you know, that's something that we'll have to evaluate.
Sure.
So what are you looking for from the commission in terms of this number?
I don't have a program designed to approve at this point. First off, I wanted to make sure that the commission was open to exploring this and seeing what we can come up with. It makes sense. Like I said, the $3 per megawatt hour is simply the current rough price. That is this year's cost. Obviously, next year could be a little different, but depending on what happens. But just looking to see if there's support by the commission for adding in this pricing option for our customers.
And
Yeah, I got just a question for clarification, to make sure I'm understanding this right, because when I see renewable energy credit, it's not really a credit to the, is it, or is?
Oh, it's not, so,
a cost or a credit, or, I mean, I'm counting.
so,
Credit is.
oh, without getting too far into the weeds, basically, somebody out there. Let's take one of our customers. Somebody puts in a PV system. They can go on an exchange and say, because I created, because I've got this solar system out there, I'm creating these environmental benefits. And there was a lot of work done to make this tradable. So what you can say is I generated so many kilowatt hours, and there's a green component. I'm willing to sell to you my rights to that green energy. So if I sell it to you, you are now the benefit, can claim the environmental benefit, and I can't anymore, even though I own the solar PV system, because I sold
So
that
you
attribute.
Put it on your tax returns, or where are you claiming this?
It within the exchange, the renewable energy credits are bought and sold. There's the Chicago Climate Exchange, which does a lot. As things grow, there is talk about having that on a utilities basis where you can buy and sell.
So is there a financial benefit to the ratepayer that would be taking advantage of energy credit?
People are doing it because they want to promote more renewable.
So it's not a financial, it's more of a.
You're getting this more intangible benefit. Basically, what you're saying is,
It's more of a philosophical.
well, the way I look at it is, I as a homeowner might not be able to afford to put on the $50,000.
Right, so I get that, I was just,
But
it says credit, they're getting the credit of knowing that they're helping with.
yeah, it's the terminology that you use for what that
Okay,
almost kind of.
all right, I just wanted to make sure,
non-fungible
it's not a
token
financial,
is. It's kind
it's
of-
not a financial. It's not a dollar amount rate reduction.
It's an environmental,
It's an environment. Just goes.
but it's a way for somebody who might not have the financial or ability to
Right,
build a $50,000 system. So what I'll do is I'll spend a little bit of money and encourage you to put one on your building,
yeah,
and I'll pay you to do that. That's the.
yeah,
it's the warm and fuzzy version.
okay, I wanted, that's why I said clarification, I'm just making sure it says credit, because there's no financial. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, I think personally, then I think that's, people who really feel strongly about that, to have that option available.
And once we set up the tracking for it, then,
Yeah.
it's like costing, we can just pass through the cost.
yeah, to answer your question, Keith, I think we, as a commission, have to be completely open to anything that comes our direction. That says the word energy.
Right.
Any of those things we should be always looking at and be open to at least discuss.
Right, I mean, I don't think we all have to agree with whether solar or wind or coal or whatever, is better in the end.
Right,
I think
no.
it's just, people want to. They don't have the means to put up, but I, 50,000, I have a friend I called you about, so it's putting $100,000 system in his house.
Yeah.
And was sold on that. Which is an interesting story, but well, and there's a family member that works for a power that, so they're afraid that rates are gonna really go up.
Sure.
But anyhow,
But yeah, we're not here to say, go this way, this way.
Yeah.
We just want to listen and should entertain
Right,
any thought that the public has to share with us.
yeah, but if you get someone who's living in an apartment building, they can't put up a solar panel.
Exactly.
And they wanna, but they don't, they wanna feel like they're contributing to it.
Or somebody who lives in July.
Yeah, that's right, where you can't, you don't have the land or you don't own the growth necessarily, so.
Yeah, I agree. I look at it almost as consumer choice.
Yeah.
Giving people,
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. Any one person may say this isn't for me, but it doesn't mean that we're gonna pick another.
and I'm not educated enough to tell you whether solar is good in the long run or not, so we let everybody decide that for themselves.
So, with that, I'll try to put some meat on the bones and then see if we can come up with something. Then just give our customers just one more option.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Appreciate it.
Well, then,
Okay, next thing that I would like to do is take the moment in time to thank you, sir, for your time, your friendship, your generosity, your input, your contribution to the city and to everything that Greg touches. We really appreciate it, and I certainly appreciate you and your friendship.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor, it's been a lot of fun. It's been exciting times being here. But you know, I think it's been rewarding to come through all of that and still work with you guys to keep the focus on the community. And it's been, I guess it's very rewarding. And I got to work with this person. It's all a plus.
Yeah.
It's all a plus. Thank you guys. It's been great guys to work with. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's gonna be interesting times. Fortunately, I can watch all this on video.
Yeah.
But I am.
You
Which
can
is,
call
you know,
it a comment.
It's one of the things that text us while we're having the meeting. I'm watching.
You know, we've come a long way these last few years. We've opened up, you know, our website is all new. We have more and more ways to get in contact with us, created new ways to pay our bills. We've got studies that have helped us map out where we can go. I think it's been an exciting time. Been exciting being, enjoyed being part of it. Now Mrs. Henson and I are going to jump in camper, go travel for the next few years. See the things that we didn't have time to. But when you have as many kids as we do, it was hard. So now we're going to go up. We're looking forward to it. Thank you all. Thank you guys at the city council for putting the faith in us.
And I'm glad you're not only talking about it, you're actually doing it. So it's really important because a lot of people don't do that. They talk about it, but you're doing it. Congratulations.
Now we got people moving into the house next week. We gotta get up.
That's the best way to do it, right? Make sure you can't go back.
But like I said, it's been great. Really enjoyed being part of this. Jack's perfect guy because he's been a good supporter of Princeton Public Utilities, Princeton community. And I think fill in the seats. So thank you all. I appreciate the opportunity.
With that said, would you like to make a motion?
I would like to make the last motion to adjourn.
One second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Jeremy. That's it. Tell you about Nolan. So Julie and I.
Oh, well, I said,
I would.
and